So today's lesson is lesson number 77. We're talking about hyperbolas now. This is going to be graphing and identifying parts of a hyperbola. Okay, so are we ready to move on to the steps? Yes? Okay, so here are the steps. The first thing you're going to want to do here is identify the center. So it's still H and K just like normal. The only kind of trick that's going to happen is if Y is first, you just have to make sure you look next to the X for the H, next to the Y for the K. Okay? Okay. Then you're going to identify which form it's in. So if the X part is first, then it's horizontal. So you're going to be focusing on the left and right parts. If the Y is first, then it's vertical. So you're going to be focusing on the up and down parts. Okay, this will all make sense as we go through. Then you're going to make sure you know what A and B are. You'll make a box using A and B. So from the center, you're going to go A units to the left and right, B units up and down, and then sketch, you'll make the box, and then sketch asymptotes through the diagonals, and sketch your graph on either the left and right or on the top and bottom, depending on which type it is. So, did everyone get a chance to write down the steps? Mostly? Yeah? Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started then. Can we quiet down, please? All right, so number one, the first thing I'm going to look for is my center. My center here is what?
0, 1.
Good, 0, 1, okay? And then I want to know what's A and what's B. So I'm looking under the X part and under the Y part. So what's A? 5, good. And what's B? Perfect. Okay, now we're going to make this little box thing. So I start at my center point, 0, 1. I go 5 units to the left and right because that's what A is. And I make points there. So that's 5 units to the right and then 5 units to the left of the center. And then I use B to go up and down. So I go 3 units up and 3 units down for B. Okay, now I'm going to make a box by going through all of these points. So it's basically just a rectangle, I guess. So you make dotted lines for this rectangular box. Okay? Close. This is what starts to guide you for how to sketch the curve. Okay, so make a box, and then the next step was to step 5. Now you're going to do the asymptotes through the diagonals. So you make diagonal lines here and here. Okay. None of this is the actual graph yet. These are like guiding lines for the hyperbola. So now the actual curve, that's why it's all dotted. It's just kind of like scratch work, sort of. But you need it. You need to have this, or it's not. If you're sketching it by hand, you need this to tell you how to graph it. Okay, so since X is first, I'm going to go on the right and left of this. Right and left of the box. So I use the vertex, or I reuse this point. That's going to be my vertex now. And I sketch the curve. I make it really close to these asymptotes, okay? Remember how we had a log? The graph of logs got really close to that asymptote, but they don't touch it? Same thing happens here. It gets really close, but doesn't touch it, and it gets really close, but doesn't touch it. Okay, and then one on this side. Same thing. I reuse that point as the vertex and then graph. Okay, and that's it for number 1. I'm done. So number 2, what's my center for number 2?
1, negative 3, 1. 1, negative 3, 1. Oh, no,
Which one goes first?
Fooled me.
It did, right? It's a trick. It got you guys. But it's okay. No, some of you got it. That's good. It's good to notice that, though. Yeah, so the 1 is going to come first here, even though it's written the opposite. We always do the one with the X first. So it's the 1 first, and then the Y part. Okay, H and then K. So 1, negative 3. And then what's my A? A is always with X, so what's A?
3.
No. 3. Okay, and what's B? 1. Good. All right, so I'm going to make the box again here. So 1, negative 3 is going to be right. 1, negative 3 will be down here. And then I go 3 units to the right and left. So that's those points there. And then 1 unit up and down from the center. And make the box like this. Okay? Then I'm going to make the diagonals through the vertices of the rectangle, right? So I go here, through the center and here, and then this point, the center and here. Okay? So those are my 2 asymptotes. And then I want to sketch the curve. So this one, though, is y first or is x first? In the equation? The y part is first, right? So that means it's our second type, which is vertical. So the actual curves are going to be on top and bottom, not on the right and left, okay? So these ones I sketch here. Okay? So again, I reuse this point, and I make the curve go really close to the asymptotes, and then here I reuse this point, and I make the curve go close to the asymptotes. So number 3 on your iPads, I want you to tell me the center, A, and B. Okay, so just write what's the center, what's A, and what's B, okay? Number 3, you guys got the center. The center is 0, 0 here. I saw a lot of people that had 1, 1. Okay, if I don't have anything being subtracted, it's just 0, 0. Okay? The A here is 4, and then B is 4 as well. Okay, so I plot my points. I start with the center, and I go 4 points in either direction. Okay, I want you guys to finish graphing this on your iPads and then show me what you get. Okay, so graph it. And just so we're all on the same page, is this one horizontal or vertical?
Horizontal.
Is this horizontal or vertical?
Horizontal.
No, not A and B. This is different from ellipses. We just look at which one's first. X is first, so it's horizontal. So the curves are going to go on the left and right, okay? So work on those on your iPad and then show me when you're done. Okay, so check your work now for number 3. I'm going to make the rectangle here, and actually, if you guys notice, A and B is the same. A and B are the same, excuse me. So what shape is that actually?
Square.
It's a square. Okay, so now I make my diagonals. Okay, and then I'm going to do the curves on the left and right, right? Because X is first, so my curves go here and here. Make sure, you guys, the biggest thing that I saw is that you're not including this point. So your kind of sideways parabola thing needs to start at the point that you made here. Okay? Does everyone hear that?
Yeah.
So you start here and then curve and get close to this, curve and get close to the asymptote, okay? All right, so again, what would we do to this to make it a circle? How could this be a circle? Or what would be different if this to make this a circle?
Make it a circle.
You can just make it a circle. The equation. In the equation, Shelby? Right, but in the equation, this equation is this graph. So it's close to the equation of a circle. What's different? It would have to be positive. Okay, so the reason I know to graph this like this is because it's a negative in between. It's subtracting. If this was plus, it's a circle. So I graph it like a circle. It has a radius of 4. It would be right in here. Okay? Okay, and then number 4 in class, we had students come up to the board to do each piece of this. So they got that the center was -1/2, 0. A is 2 and B is 5. So this is plotting the center, plotting 2 units in either direction, left and right, and then 5 units going up and down from the center, and then this is the box that we would create and the diagonals through it. And then we draw the curve, and the curves here are going to be on top and bottom because y is first. So we make sure to include the point from our box and then get really close to the asymptotes without touching them. Okay, so that's basically it for today's lesson, and I hope you guys all have a safe weekend. I will see you on Monday.